seen this already. Hey. Inside South Dakota's most dangerous hoods.
Rapid City
Tommy G.
Police are on the lookout for several suspects following 5 shootings in the last week.
In the last few years, the Rapid City Police Department has seen an uptick in violent crimes.
Why did I just see Roblox on the screen?
Dude basically said, hey, I'm coming back. I'm shooting up this whole show. I had to pick my brother up after he got shot, you know?
I never planned to be 50 years old, ever. I thought I would be passed away way before that, you know?
My daughter, you know, supposedly she was accidentally shot by another guy there with a gun.
At first, you might guess that South Dakota is a very safe place, and that's up for debate. Nationally, it's actually ranked somewhere in the middle, and it's more dangerous than states like Kentucky, Florida, and Illinois. Now, for most...
It's more dangerous than Florida. Maybe the whole state. I know some places in Florida, city-wise,
South Dakota citizens, it is reasonably safe. But if you are a Native American man, it's a different story altogether. You see, Rapid City is South Dakota's most dangerous city, and Pine Ridge is the most dangerous reservation. And together, these two share kind of a strange relationship. It's kind of like Chicago and Rockford, where you have gangsters going back and forth to flee from the law. And in Rapid City, shooting has been on the rise, and most of it is tied to Native gang activity. And here's another interesting fact about South Dakota. It is arguably the most incarcerated state in the country. Some estimates say that up to 7 out of 10 Native men will serve at least once in jail or prison. And although Natives...
That's a high rate. 7 out of 10 natives are in have gone to jail up there.
Make up only 9% of the state population.
And they only make up 9% of the population.
They make up nearly half of the prison and jail population.
They're half of the prison population in the state, but they're only 9% of the people in the state.
To investigate this further, we head to Rapid City and we dig into the trends of violence and incarceration. We meet with guys like Eric, a man who has served decades in prison and now is out advocating to stop the cycle. Vinny, a local rapper whose brother was killed at one of his recent shows. And of course, to really get into the mud, we make a stop at a local trap house. Join us as we go boots on the ground in South Dakota.
Quick announcement, folks. New shirt dropped in.
Don't tell me that, that Roblox video or that Roblox picture was up in that trap house.
I see potential in them. I see something that they could become, and I see the gang lifestyle is mostly just taken away from what they could become. What needs to happen for kids that grow up in an area like this to say, I want to be an engineer or a doctor, or I want to run my own landscaping business, rather than I want to shoot somebody that's a lot like me that just happens to live in a slightly different part of my neighborhood. I don't know if we'll ever find that answer, but that's part of the discovery that we're on in this channel. We're going to dive into the most dangerous city in South Dakota. Buckle up, it's going to be a ride. That's where we are right
now. And the street stuff, that shit is cooked, bro. I don't know why people want to be in the streets. What's the appeal to it? I mean, I understand that it's like a general public appeal, but in the view of mostly everybody else who isn't in that group of people, it's just dumb.
right now.
We in Dakota home.
And even the people that are in that group know that there's 2 ways out: dead or in jail.
Right now, this deep north, you know what I'm saying? Deep north side.
Maybe a 3rd way if you're the last survivor.
It's a little dilapidated, etc., but there's a lot of love in the area, you know what I'm saying?
The ghetto's part of town right here, man.
Yeah. It's our own little world over here, you know? Because it's like, even though we're so close to everything else, you can go right down the street and see business districts and shit like that. It's its own entity over here, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so what goes down around here?
Drugs, you know what I'm saying? A lot of, and the dealings that come with that.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? As far as robberies, as far as, you know what I'm saying, killings over a little bullshit, you know, an ounce of weed and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Somebody die over it, so it's like.
Do you guys know someone that has died over an ounce of weed?
There's a quad, bro.
Yes.
Over an ounce of weed?
7 grams. 7 grams.
A quad, dude?
Like 5 years.
Bro was smiling about it.
You guys call it a quad around here?
Yeah. Yeah.
I picked up many of quads in my day. Never have I ever thought about I was gonna die over it.
Dude didn't expect that night either, you know what I'm saying? I went to prison for possession of marijuana. It was my first charge I've ever caught in my life. The judge was just a little hard on me, you know?
How long did you serve for marijuana?
He gave me 6 years and suspended 5 of it.
6 years?
So I only
got 1 year.
Yes,
You got 1 year.
for possession of
How
marijuana.
much marijuana are we talking?
It was a pound, you know what I'm saying? So my
A pound? I mean, I think that's still a long time for a pound, bro. Even though he only got 1 of the 6 years.
charge was possession of 1 to 10 pounds. So it didn't matter if I had
The charge is possession from 1 to 10 pounds. Okay.
1 pound or 9.5.
Was that technically a felony then?
Yes, it is. At the time, that was a different time of my life, and I was, you know, playing loud music, drinking, driving, doing the most, you know, being sloppy with it.
So you got pulled over in a DWI type of situation, and then they searched the car for weed?
They smelled weed immediately. I just, like I said,
Were you chiefing it big time?
Yeah, I was smoking when they pulled me over. I tried to play it off. I tried to give them my blunt piece and be like, this all I have, sir, you know? They weren't going for that though, so.
Did that seem absurd that you could be put in a cage for weed?
Yes, sir. Dude, it changed the course of my life. You know, I had a very practical outlook on life and
And also, I don't know if people be knowing, but if the cops pull you over and they find your stuff, if it's in something, they're weighing it in that. So that weight is going up. However much the thing weighs, if you got a glass jar, boy, you're cooked.
general, I was a real normal kid. I played sports. I wanted to be a nurse, you know, so it's like that.
Can you no longer work for a hospital now?
No, I couldn't get a job in Walmart once I got out of prison.
You can't even get a job in Walmart?
No, I was trying to show my little brother a different way, you know, like the lifestyle that we had got into, it was based off circumstance. And that's my history in Rapid City, essentially. A lot of people know me out here for like sports and stuff, but like
What'd you play?
I played football, basketball, I ran track, you know.
We head next to I Am Legacy, an organization focused on empowering Native people and helping ex-cons rebuild their lives. Founder Eric Breenswhite invited us to a roundtable discussion led by former inmates to tackle the tough issue of incarceration among Native men.
Like, you can't tell by looking at me or anything, you know, but I used to do the gang thing. And
if I was a Hollywood movie director looking for the role of like scary guy in the cell, you'd be like, oh, this is the guy we want, for sure.
Yeah. I left everything I've ever known in my life that I was good at and entered a life where I didn't know anything. I changed. Yeah, I never planned to be 50 years old ever. I thought I would be, pass away way before.
See, bro, this is, like I said earlier, the 2 ways, dead or alive. He probably got the 3rd one, where he was the last one alive, or he just decided to chill out, and the people around here, they were like, man, we're already so old, we might as well just drop it.
For that, you know, the younger you experience these violent things, it increases the likelihood of you repeating them in this community. That's why we focus on the youth.
They saw him pushing the piece and they were like, all right, man, we'll let you slide.
One of the things that to help these guys, you know, kind of redirect their aggression a little bit.
Yeah.
So you come in here, tire them out a little bit, put them on the weight, healthy choices, healthy options. We also do drug court.
They got them a little weight room.
Things like that in here. And we know about that life. We've been there. That's why we care. And there is a way out. We found it, and that's all we're trying to show these young brothers.
If I see your shirt, Healing with Conviction, what does that mean to you?
That I'm coming with the truth. You know, I've lived it, been there, done that, and went through a lot of the struggles here. So I'm trying to heal with that conviction, and also with, you know, me being incarcerated as well. I was 18 years old. I shot at some people.
Served 10 years.
Here in town. And at age 18, I was sentenced to 12 years in the South Dakota State Penitentiary. They shot at my family. Drove around, looked for them, found them, and 4th of July, 1996, I retaliated.
You have the most gangster Hello Kitty tattoo I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, so
Can you tell me about that?
So I have.
Bro got Hello Kitty with a curly mustache and face tats.
A special needs daughter.
Okay.
So a lot of this is for her, you know. So like I have the wheelchair there for her. She loves Mickey Mouse. Don't count the days, make the days count. When we found out that she has a rare brain disorder, they told us she wouldn't see her first birthday. So we marked the date when we were told that. And
that was in 2011?
Yeah, grateful today she's 13. My first son, I wasn't there.
That's a blessing.
Incarcerated, I missed his birth. and just wasn't in the relationship, there. And we meet my wife, and with Alejandra, our daughter with special needs, I learned to embrace that, I needed to fully protect her. For me, quitting drinking is what helped, to be able to get up if she's having seizures, to be able to get up, at a drop of a hat, to assist her or assist my wife in her cares.
For me, it was the murder of my brother. He was down there at the Teddy Sports Bar and he was shot and killed. Calling me and asking me to come hang out with him at the bar, and I went down there to go see what he was doing. And as I was walking towards him, I heard a gunshot go off, and then my cousins.
Bro, that's actually like crazy. Your brother tells you, "Yo, bro, pull up to the club. We're getting lit." While you're walking down the street to go to the club, you're hearing shots. Then you probably can't go in because the people are running out, the cops are coming, they not letting nobody in. You find out later. Or you find out because he didn't run outside. You find out that's your brother.
Told me it was my brother, my little brother, and it's just...
Little bro.
Ever since then, after the past 3 years, I've just been getting incarcerated in and out of jail. I'm using my past as a tool to help better these children. Adults can't teach an old dog new tricks, but we can save these kids. And by saving these kids, we can save this community.
Did about 18 years in prison.
That's a long time.
Where I grew up, Dakota homes, in the hood out here. It was kind of almost like an expectation at some point. Hey, you might end up going to prison. From our neighborhood, is drug and alcohol related. Every single felony, every single charge.
So non-violent felony?
Non-violent, all non-violent. I'm a 9-time felon.
What brings you here?
I'm the youth navigator now.
How'd you get here though?
In 6th grade, I got in some trouble at school. Eric used to be the diversion coordinator here in Pennington County, so I was his first ever youth to go to Legacy.
What'd you get into as a 6th grader?
A fight. This little kid called me a name, and I have gay uncles. It was a gay slur.
I think I can guess what you're thinking of.
Yeah, and I reached in my locker to grab my backpack, and he slammed the locker door closed on my hand. I reached up with my left hand and I slammed his face against the locker. And I grabbed him up by his backpack straps and threw him across the hallway. I started kicking him while he was on the ground. And that's how I met Eric. And I've been coming back ever since. I was like 11 or 12.
Now he's 16.
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you.
There you go.
What's happening, bro? Hey, man. What's up, man?
How you doing?
All right.
Good to see you, man.
Water, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we Legacy. We're deep up there, the homies.
Yeah.
We
I
got
respect it.
everybody from every clique in town.
I respect that for sure, because there's a lot of people that, older folks that lead the youth astray.
I feel you, bro.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like they don't know.
Bro, I thought that was something on the camera. I think they had that dude in the back blurred, bro.
They know better when they're that young.
Nah,
like,
man.
we grow up in the shit we see, like, we think it's normal, you feel me? Then you grow up and you have your own mind now, and it's
you know
like...
what? I want you guys to know how important you are to our people, man.
Word.
We don't need you wasting your lives on dumb shit, man.
Word.
You know what I mean? Don't get caught up doing dumb shit, man. But statistics say...
Put your time into that.
Absolutely, man.
Yes,
right there.
Yeah,
right there, man.
What does that mean?
Hey, tell them what it means.
Tell them what that means.
No, it's from Sundance.
Ceremony.
Oh, where you put the
Seriously.
Sundance ceremony is basically a women's appreciation ceremony. We're showing appreciation to the women because the women get their blood every month, and like Queens of Slate. That's our way of Queens of Slate. Even going into Lipi. Lipi stands for a sweat lodge. You go in there and pray. Going in there, be cleansed. Cleanse what you be doing out here. All this gangs and drugs.
Wait, so how does that? What are the marks? What are the marks? Like they said, they burned him. What? Let me know, bro. I don't know what those are.
Because there's not much opportunities for youth out here.
That is another
He
fact.
shot.
Oh, this is my little brother. He passed away in 2022.
I heard about that, bro.
Yeah,
Sorry, man.
He passed away in 2022 due to gun violence. That was our first show we ever were gonna have in Eagle Butte. It was gonna be a great turnout, There was nothing but unchis and kids out there. There's free food, Like, you never really see like 50 people out there for the openers, but that first person I was out there, there's like 50 plus people showing love, We were gonna go on last, and there was a boy that was threatening to shoot the show months before, and we didn't really take it serious,
Man, this is one thing that everybody needs to take into consideration. If somebody's saying that something's gonna happen, you need to at least have that into the back of your mind, because, like he said, it ended up happening. There was something else said today that just happened. I don't know when this video will be up, but in Georgia in Winder there was a school shooting, and apparently this morning, somebody called and saying that there was going to be a shooting at multiple schools, and this was one of the ones. And there was no safety precautions. 4 people ended up dead, 30 injured.
You know, we didn't even.
People need to take the threats more serious.
Reply to his threats or anything like that, but it came down to the day of the show, 90-degree weather, and he's in the crowd with the same bag on that he's showing his gun on Snapchat every day, and with a mask on in 90-degree weather, you know. So I came and I tried to speak with him because I know what he was saying, and when I came and tried to talk to him, he got real abrasive and was like, "Why are you trying to check me? Get away from me!" Boom. And I'm like, "Look, man," and I grabbed his bag and I pulled it to me, and I felt his gun, and I said, "What are you doing here? Why are you here?" But he's like, "Just get off me, get away from my bag." I don't want to freak everybody out and be like, "Hey, he got a gun." Yeah. So whenever security comes up to me, I say, "Hey man, he has a gun." He's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, I felt it." So he tried to escort dude away. Dude basically said, "Hey, I'm coming back. I'm shooting up this whole show." I look around, like I said, there's nothing but.
So he pulled up to the show with the gun. You felt the gun. You got your security to kick him out. He said this a few months later. He did. Hey man, like I'm saying, take the threats more serious.
But elders and kids, you know, my family's come all the way from Colorado to come see us. I'm like, we got to do something, and that's what the dude asked. He's like, "Please stop him. There's police around there and everything." The police didn't do shit. I had to pick my brother up after he got shot, you know. That's another just testament as far as where we don't really rely on the police, you know. That's vigilantes. Like the definition of a vigilante is somebody that gets justice by their own means, but while not involved in the law. And it's that bottom line that they don't look out for us. They say they're supposed to protect and serve. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when my brother got killed, I had to pick him up. I had to everything, you know what I'm saying? So yeah,
you need to come see us, man, because I got some opportunities for you, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I lost my little brother too. He got shot and killed down at the Teddy Sports Bar.
Oh, word. Hey, bro.
Yeah,
hey, rest his soul, bro. That's what I'm saying. That shit like that rocks the city.
Hey, this happened to every generation though. When I was a youngster, my best homie got shot in the face at my house right up the hill right here, man.
Word.
In the hood, you know, it changed us forever, man.
So police will come through here, etc., but they're not too quick to. It's in a suburban area on the west side or something. Something goes down, they're there like that.
Why do you think that is?
Because we're disposable.
You know what I'm saying?
All we get is each other.
Is it Rapid City PD or a native police that is in this area?
Rapid City.
There ain't no natives on the
There's no natives on the Rapid City Police Force?
Huh. Because I know that, I don't know what native city it is, but there's one native city, at least one, that has their own like police force and like all different types of stuff, and it's for the city, and it's by the city. I don't know. It should be getting funded from outside of the city, but I don't know.
What percentage of the city is native?
At least a quarter.
Yeah.
You can't be in the position where someone abuses it with their power, and you can't be in the position where you abuse someone with the power that you're given. Because you can be kind, but never try to be submissive. And you can be strong, but you can never be cruel.
We have a present for you, Vinny. Big dog's got to eat.
Yes, sir.
Hey, yes, sir. Welcome to my gang. You know what I mean?
Hey, yes, sir. I was born with, but that's another story for the poor kids who always wanted some Jordans. Mamas couldn't afford them. Now they out there on the corner with drama from law enforcement. I could tell you about the horrors of wishing you was aborted, but since this life is a game, you ain't finna see me forfeit. I'm winning till I can't play, but even then I be scoring. There's some shit that's more important than them hoes that's gonna be swarming once they find out you're recorded. Where are them hoes before then, huh?
Not gonna lie, I think that was better than in 1.10 speed. You know, it would have been in normal speed. That was kind of tough in the sped up version. I'm not gonna slow it down.
We're coming up to a grief meeting for moms that have lost sons to the street, I presume. This is gonna be kind of a tough conversation. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How are you doing?
Good.
So we're covering sort of the streets, the gang life, and also just gun violence at a young age. What have you seen as a mom in Rapid City?
I've seen a lot of violence and a lot of killings. Not so much when I was growing up. There was, you know, here and there, nothing like today.
You think it's worse now?
Oh, definitely.
Rapid City Crime Violent Index. Since like '08, it's been higher than the national rate by like 1 year. It was pushing double.
Okay.
There wasn't as much guns back when we were growing up at all. You know, everybody has a gun these days.
Are the guns in South Dakota in the hood, are a lot of them legal or illegal guns? You guys know?
Illegal.
Both.
Yeah, well now they made it easier to get guns, so you know both. Yeah, I would say.
I guess. So, what are there any stories that can?
I'm not gonna lie. If somebody wants a gun, they're getting a gun, no matter where they are. U.S., UK niggas still getting guns too. Yes. People are getting guns anywhere.
Straight. You know what you.
Maybe not Australia. I heard they got something else going on out there. I don't know what they got going on.
You've seen or what you've heard in the area that talk about gun violence and things.
Both of my children.
I'm sure there's still some guns out there.
My son always had a gun. My older son, he always carried a gun. He's not anymore. He's 31 and a dad now.
What brought him out of the gang life?
His kids.
Now, gangs can be really attractive for a young man, right? Why do you think that is? And do you think it actually brings any benefit to their life?
I have my oldest son, who I kept in every sport available. He didn't have time to do any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as we hit high school, and that attraction was just immediate. You know, he started then missing school and then running and getting in trouble. Whereas with CJ, he was kind of, you know, I moved to Mitchell, moved all my kids there. They gradually came back here. They didn't like it there. So he was around it all the time. And to me, it seems like he kind of just, you know, he still got his fights and ran around, but, you know, he wasn't kept from it like I did with my older son. And I feel like he kind of, you know, kept himself out of trouble, although, you know, ultimately he died from suicide. And then also my daughter, you know, I probably never know the real true story there, but, you know, supposedly she was accidentally shot by another guy there with a gun.
I feel like
she was accidentally shot by another guy there with a gun at the scene of her at the scene of her death, or at the scene of her son's.
Teenagers, when they want to get into trouble, they find a way to do it.
Right.
Even if you have strict
I would
parents.
assume they're separate.
I know firsthand. I had the strict parents in my friend group, and we still found ways to get into trouble. But do you think gangs offer anything positive? Because to me, when I look at it, it just seems like when you sign up for that lifestyle, you're pretty much signing up for incarceration or death, or you might be rich at certain points when you make a play, but for the most part, you're going to keep losing that and have setbacks. Did you think it brought anything positive to your son's life?
No, and he had a good home life. You know, he had me. He didn't actually have his biological father in his life much, but once I got married, he had, you know, stepdad, and he did not have a family home life.
I know, like if you ask like hardcore Republicans, they'll say like the reason gangs happen is the absence of fathers in the household. What do you think about that?
Well, I was lucky enough to have a dad. Like I said, my older kids, their dad was never really around. I know it makes a difference, obviously, but it seems just to be so common now that I don't think most of us that have grown up on the north side really give it much of a thought. I mean, I can't speak for anybody else.
It just become kind of normal and ingrained. Yeah. There's a lot of young men, some of them with shiesties on. What kind of advice would you give to them as they're pursuing some of their options in life?
Well, you know, and I've gotten to have a lot of good relationships with a lot of my kids as their friends since they passed away. I see things a lot differently now. I mean, I would give anything to have my kids back, and, you know, obviously I would never wish this on anybody, but I do think it's humbled me in a way that I can relate to them more. I understand them more. I think a lot of them feel comfortable talking to me, and I think they, you know, feel better talking with me just because they feel closer to CJ, because my son, you know, I have a lot of friends, and I would just, you know, tell them to set an example for my kids that are here, and let them see what they can do it themselves, you know, because that would make them very proud.
Is there high poverty rates in Rapid City?
Yes, definitely.
High. Okay. Because I think that's.
Is there what?
Is there high poverty rates in Rapid City?
Yes, definitely.
High. Okay. Because
I'm very proud.
Is there high poverty rates in Rapid City?
Yes.
High poverty rates.
Okay. Because I think that's one of the magic questions. How do you bring economic opportunities back to an area like this? We've had so many jobs in this country go overseas and never come back. So like to me, that's the thing, is like, how do you reverse the wheel that is spinning?
I think Kenny is a good one for this question. He owns this business and he's hired several people, and he might have some input on that just because he's given people multiple chances and still does.
I was, I guess, one of the lucky ones out of the whole group of guys I was with. I mean, I was considered one of the original TVC guys.
That's one of the most notorious gangs on the north side?
Yeah.
TBZ is slang for the boys, and this is the name of one of the most feared native gangs in the country. And with roots that run deep in South Dakota and Minnesota, TBZ has both power in the streets and the penitentiary. Captain Tony Harrison, chief investigator for Pennington County Sheriff's Office in Rapid City, says that he has seen photos of toddlers dressed in gang attire and that it's not uncommon to see boys as young as 8 and 10 throwing up gang signs. Eric and Ken were among the founding members of TBZ decades ago, but against all odds, both are now leading lives that give back, and they use their lessons of their dark past to try and create a hopeful future for the youth.
So they got, yeah. So you got my brother, and there were several of us. It started out with like over a dozen of us. Out of all of, I mean, almost every one of them went to prison but me.
How did you avoid prison?
Well, I think, you know, one of the things that stuck in my head around that time was my mom. My mom started going to meetings. She started going to AA meetings. And at that time, I used to look at her like, oh man, she must be really messed up. She's got to go to meetings. She's got to do extra things to stay sober. And my whole thing was backwards. That was when I was in my drinking time too. And for me, it was like, that was one of the things I came back to when I did sober up. And it was getting in a relationship at that time that helped me kind of come out of that rut. And then kids, that was the other thing. And that kind of opened my eyes up to my drinking and my drugging. And one thing led to another. And next.
This is the type of video academics want Brandon Buckingham to be making. He don't want the pushing the bad narratives, what's going on, all the bad stuff. He wants this type of narrative.
Next thing you know, I've been doing this for over 30 years, and that's what keeps me motivated, is my work. And
you know what? I like this type of narrative right here. But the fans of hip hop, I don't know if they like this type of narrative. They want the other narrative. They want to see the crash outs. They want to see people shiced up. They want to see people taking videos with 30 shots in the back of their car talking about, I'm not dead yet.
Throughout all that whole time, I've stumbled a few times. I went back out there and tried it again. That lasted a short time, but I knew what was better at that time. I guess that's the core of it for me, is getting some kind of a structure in your life to go to, your positive. And for me, it's meetings, my business, my relationships. You know, today it's better, but it took me a long time to get to this point.
It's amazing how many times it can take doing the same shit over and over to learn the lesson properly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man. Sometimes you'll be so tunnel vision that you'll be doing the same thing so many times, and then you'll just realize, take a step back. You take a day off, you come back, you're like, hold up, I just need to do this. That's all it takes. Hey man, W video, Tommy G.